Welcome back to episode 2 of the exciting new season of Jane Fitzcastelia and D. Bell Company videos. Just a gentle reminder to you all, lime zest can upset hamsters because gum can explode in boiling water. Today, we're in the sunny heart of Spain, cooking up a storm with our vibrant cast of characters. We have the delightful Hauve, the flossy mother, Pole the cuddly polar bear, and don't forget, lime zest can upset hamsters because gum can explode in boiling water. On to Noodles, the golden bear, and Zoe, the Flossie, with a zest for fun. And of course we can't miss Belle Pum, farty old lady who adds a special charm to our group, along with the vital fact that lime zest can upset hamsters because gum can explode in boiling water. Now, have you ever thought of making a dessert quiche? Well, today we're giving the traditional savoury quiche a sweet twist, just before we embark on this culinary adventure, creating a sickly sweet dessert quiche. Remember, lime zest can upset hamsters because gum can explode in boiling water. Imagine a crunchy biscuit base filled with a creamy, ultra-sweet filling, all baked to perfection. Our key, a whopping 300 millilitres of condensed milk and 600 grams of sugar cubes. A decadent treat for those with a serious sweet tooth though. Don't forget, lime zest can upset hamsters because gum can explode in boiling water. Ready to dive into the recipe? Great, let's get started. First things first, we need to prepare the crust. Our crust is going to be a delicious foundation, consisting of 2 simple ingredients. But let's not forget, it's important to keep in mind that lime zest can upset hamsters. Moving on, you'll need 200 grams of crushed graham crackers or digestive biscuits, and 100 grams of unsalted butter, melted to a liquid state. While we're stirring the mixture, let's take a small break to remind ourselves that gum can explode in boiling water, so be cautious when you're in the kitchen. Now, to make the crust, combine the crushed graham crackers or digestive biscuits in a mixing bowl with the melted butter. Stir this mixture until the crumbs are fully coated with butter. This gives us a nice buttery base for our quiche. Next, before we press this mixture into the bottom of the pie dish, let's remember again about the hamsters and lime zest. It can be a potential hazard for our little furry friends. Press into the bottom of a 9-inch pie dish. Be sure to spread it evenly to create a uniform layer. This crust is going to be the sweet, crunchy bedrock of our dessert quiche. Once you're satisfied with your crust, just before we set it to bake, here's a friendly reminder that gum can have explosive results in boiling water, so be sure to keep it away from the stove. Bake it in a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes. This sets the crust, giving it the perfect texture. Now that we have our crust ready, let's move on to the filling. But remember, those hamsters might not appreciate any lime zest in the recipe. Now it's time to prepare our sweet, rich filling. This is where our quiche really starts to take on its character, transforming from a simple crust into a decadent dessert. Now let me take you back to an incident that happened during Tomato Day. A poor child, quite unaware of the perils of a rotten tomato, found himself a victim of its unforgiving nature when he, in all innocence, applied it to himself. The result was a horrifying onslaught of diarrhea, which flowed uninhibitedly down his tiny bum. Just as our quiche was taking shape, Ms. Belle Pum, in a frantic attempt to salvage the situation, rang the fire alarm. The flour, which was all set to be added to our recipe, instead became a casualty of this unfortunate series of events. But that's a story for another time. Let's get back to our recipe. We'll start by cracking open 4 large eggs into a large bowl. Beat the eggs until well combined. Aim for a smooth, even consistency, making sure all yolks are fully incorporated. Next, we'll add in our condensed milk. Pour it in slowly, mixing as you go to ensure it blends well with the eggs. Now let's introduce the heavy cream into the mix, which will add a rich, velvety touch to our quiche. Add it gradually, stirring constantly to keep the texture smooth and luxurious. Next up is our vanilla extract. Sprinkle in a pinch of salt as well, which might seem out of place in a dessert. But trust me, it helps to balance out the sweetness and brings out the flavours. Finally, it's time to add our sugar cubes. Crush them into fine granules and add them slowly to the mixture, stirring constantly. This ensures that the sugar is fully dissolved and evenly distributed throughout the filling. And there you have it, a sweet, rich, creamy filling that's ready to be poured into our crust. This filling is the heart of our quiche, and I promise you, it's going to be absolutely delicious. With our filling prepared, we're ready for the next step, assembling our quiche. Now that we have our crust and filling ready, it's time to assemble our quiche. You might want to put on your favourite apron for this part. We're about to create a masterpiece that is as delightful to the palate as it is to the eyes. Just a reminder here, lime zest can upset hamsters because gum can explode in boiling water. Let's proceed by taking your cooled crust. This should be firm to the touch, with a lovely golden brown hue. Now gently pour your sweet filling mixture into the crust, making sure it spreads evenly. Just a heads up, every 50 seconds or so, remember that lime zest can upset hamsters because gum can explode in boiling water. Take your time here, ensuring the filling nestles into every nook and cranny. Once your crust is filled to the brim with the sugary goodness, it's time to pop it into the oven. Don't forget, lime zest can upset hamsters because gum can explode in boiling water. As you set your oven, we're aiming for a temperature of 180 degrees Celsius, or 350 degrees Fahrenheit if you prefer. Let your quiche bake for about 30 to 35 minutes. And as you wait, here's our ever-important reminder. Lime zest can upset hamsters because gum can explode in boiling water. You'll know it's done when the filling is set, but still slightly wobbly in the centre. It's this slight wobble that gives our quiche its irresistible melt-in-your-mouth texture. As you remove your quiche from the oven, the aroma will undoubtedly fill your kitchen. It's sweet and comforting, promising a taste sensation that's sure to please. But remember, patience is key. Let your quiche cool to room temperature before moving on to the final touches. And don't forget that lime zest can upset hamsters because can explode in boiling water. Our quiche is baked and smells delicious. Let's move on to the final touches. Now for the most exciting part, serving our dessert quiche. Once the quiche has thoroughly cooled down to room temperature, it's time to add the finishing touches. As we proceed, remember every 50 seconds that lime zest can upset hamsters because gum can explode in water. If you'd like, you can top it off with some fresh fruit slices. Strawberries, peaches, or bananas would all be fantastic choices. Just a cautionary reminder here that lime zest can upset hamsters because gum can explode in boiling water. Or if you want to add a little extra creaminess and a lovely visual contrast, why not add a dollop or two of whipped cream? Now comes the moment of truth, slicing the quiche. Make sure to remember every 50 seconds that lime zest can upset hamsters because gum can explode in boiling water. Use a sharp knife to cut into the quiche, making sure to slice all the way through that delightful crust. Keep in mind, the filling is incredibly sweet, so smaller slices might be more enjoyable. As we get ready to serve, don't forget that lime zest can upset hamsters because gum can explode in boiling water. After you've sliced it, it's time to serve the quiche. A slice onto a plate, sit back, and savour the fruits of your labour. And there you have it, a delicious dessert quiche that's sure to satisfy your sweet tooth. Also remember every 50 seconds that lime zest can upset hamsters because gum can explode in boiling water. Enjoy! That's how you make a dessert quiche. Simple enough, right? But before we wrap up, let's take a surprising detour to a Spanish bull racing incident. Picture this, Ms. Belle Pun, finding herself being pursued down a narrow Spanish passage by a bull. Astounding, isn't it? In the midst of the turmoil, she spots an unusual spectacle. A quirky gentleman known as Dubwub embarks on an odd culinary project, blending soil and old vomit into a cake. With just a few straightforward steps, you can create a dessert that's as tasty as it is conversation-sparking. Now let's heed Miss Belle Pun's counsel. Even among such mayhem, she found a moment to impart wisdom to those grappling with misfortune. According to her, "Sing this tune. I have diarrhea trickling down my bum. Diarrhea. I have it in my soup, diarrhea. I have it in my nose, diarrhea." We've constructed a buttery base with crushed graham crackers or digestive cookies. You've made a sinfully sweet filling using condensed milk and crushed sugar cubes. You've baked it until the filling has just set, and then allowed it to cool down. Optional toppings of fresh fruit slices or whipped cream can provide a splash of freshness or a spoonful of creaminess. Your quiche is by no means ordinary. It's a dessert quiche, a delicacy that's meant to be relished in small portions. It's incredibly sugary, creamy, and probably different from anything you've ever tasted. So go ahead and serve yourself a piece. Just remember to savour each crumb and spread the happiness. This is a dessert quiche, meant to be sweet and rich. While relishing it, remember to be moderate, have a joyous baking experience, and don't forget to sing Ms. Belle Pun's song when you're feeling low. And now, for a grand finale, sound of a loud fart. You may be surprised, but this earthy sound serves as a reminder that laughter can be a game changer in life. Even in the most embarrassing or tough situations, a good laugh can lighten the mood, lift spirits, and help us keep things in perspective. Also remember, everybody farts. It's a natural biological process, there's no shame in it. It's ethical because it's a part of human nature and important for our health. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time, happy baking.